Hey guys, what I was planning for today was to explain to you how the education works in the UK. But unfortunately, because I travel all the time and everywhere, I lost the material I had for this class. And I don't even know where it is. I don't know if I left in the States or in the UK. Isn't it hard, the life of a teacher?
There's no need to fear, cause me and my super group got your back, and we are 100% qualified to present a class about education in the UK.
I mean, it's okay, but who is in the super group?
Well, the group was formed by me, Brenda, Gabriele de Jesus, Flávio, and Micaele.
Okay then. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and let you guys teach us all about education. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Okay guys, let's get ready. Okay, so these are the facts, okay? During the 19th century, Britain was leading the world in industry and the commerce. And because they were making tons of money and being just super important, they just assumed that education would take its own course and didn't really care about it. I mean, in fact, Britain was one of the last ones in Europe to actually make education available for everybody. But nowadays, it's actually very common for them to discuss education in the UK.
In Europe, education is sort of the same around all the countries, with full-time education until middle teenage years, around 16 years of age. Schools don't cost money, they are available for free. But if you want to, you can pay for private schools. In Britain, schools funded by the government are called state schools, while the private education comes from independent schools, and, though they are paid, they are still called public schools. There is only a small percentage of 8% of children who are outside of the state system.
Boa noite, gente. Posso interromper só um pouquinho? Eu queria dar um recado pra turma.
I'm sorry, Jackie. We're in the middle of a very important class right now.
Ah, tudo bem. Eu volto daqui um pouquinho.
Like he said, small importance was given to education until the end of the 19th century. But schools already exist. They just would not receive the attention they deserved.
Eventually, they actually started to care about education, but they were selective. They chose like 1 or 2 universities or schools, but they just ignored the rest. And most of the forgotten schools were, public. The forgotten ones were made for rich boys, not girls. And they used to live in the schools, so they were boarding schools. And this is something I want to talk about because look at this. There used to be a bunch of guys living in a school. How does that work? To be honest, it's pretty much like Harry Potter, honestly. These guys were divided into houses, like in Hogwarts. They were looked after by a housemaster, like the monitors, and they had a lot of emphasis on sports, like Quidditch. But they had physical punishments if they disobeyed the rules of the school. And this is something you don't see in Harry Potter. Maybe if Harry Potter was another film, maybe. But the schools had a great reputation of having homosexual activity. And I'm not making this up, it's in the book.
But anyway, that was a long time ago. Now this school accepts girls. Their lives are more comfortable, they add some importance to academic achievements, and they are no longer famous for homosexual activity.
Vai ver, eles usam capa pra ficar invisível, gente.
And when they graduated from school, they used to form some kind of elite and separate themselves from society. And just like IFES, these schools produce the main profile of what a successful person would be.
Hey guys, we really need to discuss what we are gonna do for Halloween because... Wait, are you guys presenting something?
Well, Gabby need help introducing the education in the UK, so we volunteered to help.
That's interesting. I'll wait for a while and watch. But we really need to talk about Halloween.
But enough of the white people drama. Now they give more importance to social justice than just efficiency, so they are more focused on bringing better people to the society. Right now they're more focused on not making another Bolsonaro than just getting students ready for the ENA, for example. And with this, the students in schools have less homework in Britain than the ones in Europe. But in universities, they have less need to attend classes, but they receive better personal guidance. Tipo a Sanders, né, gente, que estágio obrigatório.
A common belief in Britain is that their education system is inferior to the others, especially the German one, for some reason. But they are completely right, they sucked. If students weren't forced to study, they probably would not be interested in education. In the middle of the 20th century, students took a test at the end of the primary school, and their life would be completely different depending on this. If they did good, they would go to grammar schools, but if they did bad, they would go to secondary schools, which were more focused on practical skills. These kids were often seen as failures. The system had two main consequences, the first being the difference between social classes and the way people judge and the expectations they had for others. Because they would give some emphasis on sports, sometimes students with poor academic records were accepted in great universities. This is totally legal in the USA with the scholarships and stuff, but in Britain this was always in secret.
That's just another reason why people believe that strong guys who are into sports are stupid. I mean, it's one of the reasons. Mas tá errado. But that separation doesn't really happen nowadays. They just go to the same kind of local schools. But from this point on, the schools had to follow the national curriculum. And in this, there's the attention they give to something called the 3 R's. And despite my complaints saying that 3 R's should all mean Rihanna, they are actually reading, writing, and arithmetic. This basically means students should be able to read, write, and count. And even though they set a bunch of rules, they didn't really care about which books or the material the kids would use in school. And after these rules, the students were able to abandon foreign languages after the age of 14. The only exception was Wales, because they have the weird language that insists on calling Welsh, and people there learn both languages until the age of 16. But that doesn't really matter because after the age of 16, only like 10% of the students actually goes for another language. And this makes even more sense if you consider the fact that they can leave schools if they want to go look for a job.
The school year begins at the end of summer and has 3 terms. They have the autumn term, some vacation, then they have the spring term, some more vacation, the summer term, and even more vacation.
Sounds like a good life, doesn't it? Their school life was basically like this. Every day school would start around 9 and finish around 15 or 16, depending mostly on the age of the students.
Their lunch breaks would last for like 1 hour and 15 minutes. This is a very good idea to apply for us here at São Camilo.
Half of the kids had lunch provided by school. But even though it sounds nice, the food was actually paid by their parents, unless they were considered poor enough for it to be free.
The education is divided in 4 parts. The first 2 are called primary education, which has kids from 5 years of age to 11, and the secondary education, which has kids from 11 to 16. If they want to, they can look for a job and just leave school at the age of 16. If they're little nerds and want to continue in education, they can move to part 3 of education, which is called further education, because they're going further than they normally have to. If they follow this path, they would take tests of conclusion. The tests are public, so everyone can choose to suffer a little bit in a room full of people brainstorming to get good grades. The tests are not connected to schools, but the schools can choose which tests the students will take. Todos eles têm questões no verso da folha. The tests are a bridge from part 3 to part 4, which is called higher education, and it's basically their lives in a university. The universities are free to choose who they're going to accept, and if you have better grades, you will have better chances to get in. When it comes to the courses, most of the studies in UK last for about 3 years, like letters in English here in Brazil. But Scotland has a standard of 4 years, and I personally believe people just spend 1 extra year learning how to use kilts, to play the bagpipe, or just learning about the damn Loch Ness Monster. And after 3 years of killing yourself in a university, you will not get the qualification you need to act in a field of choice. For example, if you graduate as an English teacher, you won't get a license right away. But if you go to a teacher training school, you will. As if that wasn't enough of a reason to not become a teacher, people also don't want to teach in UK because the students have a reputation of being little capetinhas, and nobody wants to face that. That's why the authorities in the UK have the need to look for teachers outside of the countries to have better chance of people not running away. Some hippie named A.S. Neil created the Summerhill School, which is a magical place where kids would learn not to be scared of adults, to take care of themselves, and learn not because they were forced to, but because they wanted to. Back when the school was created, the kids have more concept of rules and discipline, which they got from their parents. But as the access of education got better, kids from smaller families started to show up, and apparently they don't have the same values that the old ones did. Right now, who's in charge of the school is Neil's daughter, and she thinks the children are spoiled brats. Her words, not mine. And because they need to learn they can't do everything they want, the school is now in a position of focus on teaching the rules and discipline they didn't want to. And like, being honest, if I see a child misbehaving, all I want to do is just jump on them with a voador de três pés.
And get sued, right?
But the satisfaction is guaranteed. It would definitely be worth it.
Agora eu posso dar o meu recado, né?
Yes, Jack. I think they're done, right?
Até que enfim vou conseguir dar meu recado. Então, pessoal, em meio a tantas coisas, né, que a gente tem que organizar, submeter trabalhos na Expo Ciência, organizar a cantata que está chegando, o Halloween que foi um sucesso, a Via Sacra Poética que nós arrasamos, até uma celebração. O pessoal decidiu dar uma colherzinha de chá para vocês e cancelar o TCC e uma pequena parte do estágio supervisionado. Agora, para concluírem o estágio, vocês precisam escolher a escola. Já era assim, né, pessoal? Levar todos os documentos certinho e sem rasura. E jogar uma partida de UOL.
Ah, então tá de boa, já fiz tudo isso.
Só que não, tá, gente? Continua tudo a mesma coisa. Apresentação de TCC e estágio supervisionado 400 horas. Agora que eu já atrapalhei muito, né? Só para finalizar, eu queria mostrar para vocês um videozinho muito fofo que eu vi no Facebook. Olha só.
Get it, Tucker. Here. See, Journey likes it. Tucker, sit. Good job. Tucker, here. Tucker, here. Journey,